Broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios, it's time for Women in Motion. Brought to you by WBEC West. Join forces, succeed together. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Women in Motion, and this is going to be a good one. But before we get started, it's important to recognize our sponsor, WBEC West. Without them, we couldn't be sharing these important stories. Today on the show, we have Cora Spearman with Cora Adorables Sustainable Corporation and Cora Spearman, Hawaii. Welcome.
Aloha. How are you, Lee?
I am doing well. Before we get too far into things, can you tell us a little bit about Cora Adorables? How are you serving folks?
Cora Adorables, we are Hawaii's first ever B Corporation, product-based B Corporation. We are 100% made and sourced here in Honolulu, Hawaii, manufactured here in Honolulu, Hawaii. And when people buy Cora Adorables, they're helping to support over 30 locally owned, mostly female run and founded organizations, whether it be our cutters, our sewers, our pattern makers, our graphic designers, et cetera, et cetera. They're all mostly women-owned companies. And so we make everything right here in Honolulu, Hawaii. We are what is considered mid-century modern, contemporary luxury resort wear. And we are excited about all the different clients that we partner with. We started off as a direct-to-consumer company online, and we moved now more into wholesaling. And so we have partners like the Four Seasons, the Fairmont Resorts, Bloomingdale's, and now Celebrity Cruise Lines.
So what's your backstory? How did you get involved in this line of work?
Oh, backstory. Oh, origin story. Okay, where do we start? I think, like most entrepreneurs, we always say that our business is our baby. And like any baby, my business was oddly born in a hospital, and it was born actually during the time when I was battling head, neck, and brain cancer. And I wanted a healthy distraction from the cancer. I had to close my 2,500 square foot retail stores here that we had here in Hawaii. And they no longer could handle my cancer here in Hawaii. So I had to go to Baltimore, Maryland, at Johns Hopkins Medical Center. And so while I was in the hospital there, the doctors and nurses became my first test market, and they are still my clients to this day. So that was kind of how Cora Adorables was born.
So you had a retail store selling clothing?
Oh, we had a gift store. So yes, we sold clothing and gift items.
And then were you designing at that point, or you were reselling other people's things?
No, I wasn't designing at that point. I was actually selling other woman-owned products. So Maribel chocolates, $4.79 popcorn. I was sourcing other what would be back then. We didn't know about WeBank, but what would be considered WeBank companies that were women-owned, certified women-owned companies.
So that has always been part of your history, even prior to this adventure.
Oh, prior to Cora Adorables, yes, I've always very much supported not just local, but also supported woman-owned, for sure.
So then when you came back to Hawaii, then this idea kind of was germinating, and then you were like, okay, let's start kind of making this happen?
Well, yeah. So like the doctors and nurses I was designing, but then I was also taking samples and products to local children's stores there in Towson, I believe, Maryland. And I must have looked absolutely crazy walking in with bandages on all over my face because I was undergoing extreme radiation at the time and multiple facial reconstructive surgeries. But like I said, I was focused and determined to start something new and something exciting. I hadn't had kids yet. I wanted to have children, and I knew that there was a void in the marketplace for high-end children's resort wear.
And then so you started creating those, and then you started then selling them on your own?
Correct.
And that was first online, and then you did a brick and mortar?
It was first online, and then no, we did not do brick and mortar. We're actually located in the foreign trade zone here in Hawaii. We started actually exporting to Japan. And so we started with our partners with Hankyu department stores, and it kind of caught craze there. We also got to beta test because at the time I had pitched with WeBank Disney. And when I pitched Disney, an executive from Disney had said to me, Cora, do you want to just sell us your product or do you want to help tell your story? Because we're very much, story centric. And that was how my cartoon characters, Belle and Zoe, and the Hawaii transplants were born. I ended up meeting at the WeBank conference in San Diego, the animator, one of the animators from Disney named Benson Shum. And Benson, they kind of whisked him away. And I said, oh, maybe that's a sign for me to go upstairs and practice for my pitch. And when I got in the elevator, there he was. So like any little kid that I learned from little kids, I started pushing every button in the elevator so that I could have enough time to give him my elevator pitch and to pitch him to see whether or not he'd be interested in drawing my cartoon characters that I thought would eloquently tell, the story of our brand, the story of our diverse background, being us as a family, Hawaiian, Chinese, Portuguese, African American, Native American, which was, as we told Disney, every Disney princess under the sun. A little bit of Moana, a little bit of Pocahontas, a little bit of Mulan, a little bit of Tiana, and all of that mixed together. And what became, is definitely our daughters, Bella and Zoe. So.
Now, is there any advice you can give other entrepreneurs out there? Because it seems like you have such amazing drive, and you don't take no, and you go for what you want to achieve. Any lessons there for other people on how to have the gumption to be brave enough to do the things that you've done?
Oh, my advice is I think cancer and life showed me that life is not promised. It's short. So you have to actually do what you love, not waste your time, not waste other people's time, doing something that you don't love and don't enjoy. So you have to figure out what your true calling is. I'm not an advocate or a proponent of just doing things for money. I do things with purpose. So finding your purpose, finding your passion in that purpose, and then letting that drive you, because then it doesn't feel like work. You're just honestly doing what you were called on this planet to do and living out your full and complete happy life.
Now, when you have that mindset shift and that belief, does that kind of take away the fear, or are you kind of a little nervous? Like when you pressed all the buttons in the elevator, was there any hesitation or any nerves, or were you like, this is what I have to do because I'm trying to achieve something and this person could help me?
I never move with desperation, but I definitely move with excitement and vigor. So I think, like I said, I guess it's more of that, like I said, that little kid's abandon of having just excitement and just pure intentions and just wanting, being excited to play, to have fun, to create. It wasn't coming from a place, oh, I need to do this. It's that's never my energy. I think the energy is more of, oh my gosh, what the stars have aligned, like what a serendipitous, occasion. This is definitely kismet, it was meant to be. So I think when you're living in your purpose, that the stars align. In Hawaiian, we have a phrase that's called imua. Imua is when more than one are gathered with a common purpose, and it literally means to push forward. And it's when you're pushing forward with perseverance, purpose, and dignity.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you were a B Corp. For the folks who aren't familiar, can you explain what a B Corp is and why it was important for you to go that route?
Oh, sure. B Corp are businesses that use business as a force for good, so to speak. It's companies that definitely adhere to the SDGs as outlined by the United Nations Global Compact. on, fairness and paying a fair wage and, no type of discrimination and having, equality in the workforce, like eradicating racism. There's just different pillars, making sure, that we're ecologically sound and being, as we call in Hawaiian, pono, which is fair, righteous, and just, and being in balance with the environment. For us, it's the ocean, the air, and the sea. Making sure that when we're producing or consuming things, that it is in a pono, a fair, righteous, just, a very ecological way, very conscious and aware of every decision and the impact that you're having on the community around you and the people who are consuming your products, as well as the people who are creating your products. And, making sure that everything is righteous, fair, and just. And so I would suggest people check out bcorp.net, where they can find out more about exactly what B Corps are, and some of your favorite brands may be B Corps. Like for me, it was Dr. Bronner's, Patagonia, and a few others that were Ben and Jerry's, that were very inspirational in the way that they approached business, but then also gave back to the communities that they manufacture in.
Now, why was it important for you to become part of WBEC West?
Oh, wow. Oddly, when I pitched Disney, actually, I had pitched Disney because I was about to pitch Shark Tank, and I was all set to go on to Shark Tank, and the producers cut me. My segment was cut, and I was bummed and devastated. And I asked myself, well, why were you wanting to go on to Shark Tank in the first place? And my why was, well, I wanted to get in front of some of these big box retailers. I wanted to get in front of the Targets, and I wanted to get in front of the Macy's, and I wanted to get in front of the Disneys. And so I blindly wrote a letter to Disney.com, just random. And I kind of forgot about it. And then I got this weird phone call from Anaheim. And it was from a woman named Arnice Lamb. And Arnice Lamb, God rest her soul, she's no longer with us, but she's an angel we know by name. Most of the Weebies would know Arnice. She was a huge advocate of woman-owned business and an executive with Disney. Now, when she called me, I was like not expecting the phone call. And I joked that she became my first shark. She was a huge advocate in saying, Cora, you need to become woman-owned certified. And I said, woman-owned certified? I knew nothing about it. I had just, at that time, it was 2016. I had just won the SCORE Small Business Championship. And serendipitously, I was flown to Arizona, which is where WeBank West is headquartered. And so when they flew me to Arizona for the SCORE Championship, I then got to meet Dr. Pamela Williamson, as introduced by Arnice Lamb, and the rest became herstory, as I like to call it.
And then has your relationship with WeBeck West helped you get access to those big boxes that you were seeking?
I think absolutely. And even if it didn't in some way indirectly, they always are looking forward to me having the certification. Whether it be me dealing with Amazon, they ask you, if you have it, and uploading it into their systems. It's very useful and looked upon well when I'm dealing with Macy's and Bloomingdale's, as I'm dealing with them now. It's taken some years, but I've finally got into those big box retailers proudly. But the certification definitely is a badge of honor. And it is also looked upon, I think, very, very respectfully by those entities.
Now, where can you find Core Adorables now?
Oh, well, we're excited about launching on the Celebrity Ascent. So if you're so blessed to take a vacation on a cruise on Celebrity Ascent, you can definitely find our collections there. You can find us, of course, on www.coreadorables.com. You're able to shop our collections also directly from any of your social media outlets, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, or Pinterest. You're also able to find us, bloomingdales.com. They have a new collection, that we're getting to them soon. I'm actually pitching, I'm one out of 25 businesses. 1,300 applied, but they only chose 25. And I think more than half of us are WBEC certified, actually. For us to pitch for $100,000 for Macy's, the workshop at Macy's. So hopefully, if all goes well, I'll be available at Macy's very soon as well. And then if you're visiting the islands of Hawaii, you can find us at the Fairmont, the Four Seasons, the Grand Wailea, Maui Westin, or the island of Lanai, the Four Seasons there, etc.
So what do you need more of? How could we help you? Are you looking to partner with more Hawaiian women-owned companies? Are you looking to get into more and more accounts? How can we help?
Oh, we can help by following us on our social media platforms and engaging with us there. We are very much excited right now with our strategic partners in launching our sustainable circular fashion installations that we're planning to put into these stores. So we're excited about helping big box retailers become a lot more green. So we're very excited about that component. How people can also support by shopping our collections, buying our collections. And I'd love to do collaborations with any of the other entities out there, like Levi's. I'd love to do a collaboration with them. And any of the other collabs with bigger companies that are Fortune 100 companies, like the Ben and Jerry's and things of that nature. So Patagonia, any of them, I would love to do a collab.
Well, Cora, thank you so much for sharing your story today. You're doing such important work, and we appreciate you.
Oh, no, thank you for having us, and we appreciate you. So mahalo nui loa.
And that's coradorables.com, CORADORABLES.com.
Perfect.
Well, Cora, thank you again for sharing your story. It was great chatting with you.
Mahalo. Aloha.
All right, this is Lee Cantor. We'll see y'all next time on Women in Motion.